Dinos. I'm Shaun, and let's turn off that music that is a very, very close rendition of the Robocop theme, ripped off in glorious fashion because, you know, I don't want my video taken down. Welcome to James Pond 2 Robocod, a game, well, actually a series of games based around weak puns, and it was Europeans trying to emulate, you know, what the Japanese were doing with platformers and the like. It's so this we're looking at the Switch version here. I had this originally on the Commodore 64. I was a microcomputer kid all through the 80s, through the early 90s until I got my Super Nintendo. Just trying to remember what to do here. There we go. You need to get rid of the bombs. You assume they would kill you, but this is just exactly the kind of, you know, vague nonsense you can expect from Euro platformers. It is something of a collectathon, so you'll have like a thing you have to do in each level. Collect all the bits around the level to earn you points. A lot of the old ones actually from this time before would have required you to pick up everything in the goddamn stage. It sounds fun. It's like, oh hey, that's how like Banjo-Kazooie and the like work. You know, that's great. It was not great. It was not great. It was soul-crushingly tedious after a spell. You know, we used to like things like Zool, but yeah, this is kind of you know, this has got a Switch release and everything. This is one of those European platformers from back in the day that has, to a degree, stood the test of time. I'd say certainly more as a curiosity than of actual quality. Like you can't see. You obviously can see what I'm playing. You can't feel how I'm playing. Like, it is astoundingly floaty and a little imprecise, but yeah. Obviously, this looks a lot better than the version I had on the Commodore 64. I did think about intersplicing some footage of the old C64, but I couldn't get it working in time. So there we go. We're not getting that. But yeah, this was the kind of thing I would have to play. I would have to play on my Commodore 64 as you know, Nintendo stuff didn't come out on it, Sega stuff didn't come out. We had the great Yana sisters. That was pretty awesome. But by and large, what you're seeing is what the game was. Just a wonderful title. Well, I guess two wonderful titles. He's a fish. It's called James Bond. Robocod, because he's got something of a, you know, a mechanical midriff, which extends. You've already seen that in the game. And everything else is just off theme. It doesn't look like Detroit. It doesn't look like one of Blofeld's Many Layers or anything like that, does it? No. It's set in some kind of toy factory or something, an explosion in a toy factory maybe. But I think it's the North Pole actually, because it's got a Christmas theme. Like the music is Christmassy. It's just like a lot of these things. It's like if Asylum, like back in the day, if Asylum were like, oh, hey, we can make Super Mario Brothers. Like super off-brand of what platforms. I'm still a bit nervous that they're going to explode and kill me. Yeah, it's just kind of it's got its charm, but it's just not as good, is it? It's just very, very clear. It doesn't stand up. The pun aside, it does not stand up whatsoever against you know, your Mario Brothers games and the like, which are still, you know, the early Sonics, which are still incredibly playable up to this day. That said, I am going to complete this. Like, I was getting a big slippery Simply not. See that look? It's not. That's what you have to do, and you can't quite jump high enough. just yeah. Yeah, I am going to complete this anyway. Like, the nostalgia is definitely there. I actually, like, I think it looks, it's obviously, you know, re-released on the cheap, but I think it looks quite nice. I would like to compare it to the original Commodore 64 graphics, but like I said, I wasn't going to nick someone else's YouTube video to do it. I didn't have time to stick it in there myself, so I'll just, I'll fire up my emulator and that'll be that. I did show there is a little bit of variety in gameplay. This is obviously not a very long video because it doesn't take long to show off what most of this game is, to be perfectly honest. Because again, these were made on a budget. When it was originally made, it had to be on a very small, well, in my case, it had to be on a very small cartridge. This certainly would have been looking at, if it wasn't released on it, well, I'm sure it was released on it. This would have been looking at the Amiga and the Atari ST, I imagine, by the time it came out. So this came out in 1991, so this would be the tail end for a lot of people of the microcomputers. A lot of people would be moving on to consoles and stuff like that, or just moving up in spec of their computer. They'd be moving up to an Atari ST or something. So yeah, a lot of my friends had moved up to the to consoles by this point. By the time this came out, I borrowed this off a friend's. There were certainly some of us left who were still microcomputing back at that point. I didn't get a console until the SNES. So what, 94-ish, I guess? UK time? I didn't get it. I know I didn't get it till after Legend of Zelda had released, because my uncle had that, and that was me going, well, now I must have this console. But yeah, I was stuck back in the doldrums of stuff like this for perhaps longer than some of my contemporaries. But not a lot. A lot of my friends still had it, so, you know. Those old consoles, the new consoles were expensive back then. They're expensive now. But yeah, so this is what this game was. It's been a nice little nostalgia trip. But there was one last thing I wanted to show off just before we moved on. Right at the start of the game, there's some cake. There's a hammer. There's an earth. There's an apple. There's a tap. And that spells cheat, and that immediately makes you completely invincible for the entire time playing the game. So if it was too hard for you back in the day, you could just put this on and not bother about the collectibles and race for it, as I am doing here. I didn't actually realise this back in the day, so I beat it fairly and squarely. But it's one of those things. It's a very famous cheat these days. So yeah, this has been James Bond, James Bond 2 Robocod. It's fun. It's out on Switch right now. If you like it, give it a go. Or if you want to get nostalgic, give it a look. All right, bye bye.